Caitlin Garcia. I'm married to Ricky Garcia, and we've been married for 3 years.
Ricky Angel Garcia, and I'm married to Caitlin Marie Garcia. We've been married for 3 years. So I know for a fact that she's gonna have a completely different story, but my first memory of us meeting is my best friend and her best friend are cousins, and I believe we met when it was a little family gathering. We were hanging out on the trampoline under the stars. It was beautiful. She was beautiful, and that's my first memory of us meeting.
So I have the right end of the story, but Ricky's gonna tell you that we met on a trampoline, which isn't true. That was probably about like 3 weeks later. We actually ended up meeting after he added me on Facebook. I ended up going to our church, which is our home church, and actually meeting him and introducing myself with one of my friends and kind of getting to know him.
I believe I'm the one who said I love you first. I would say the big turning point moment was when I had moved back from Florida, and I didn't really believe in this whole love at first sight, you know, that's the one. And when I seen her, I wasn't expecting to see her. I wasn't even expecting to cross her path because I was a douchebag in the past. And when I seen her, I just knew the desire for any other woman left. And I knew she was the one, and I knew I was gonna pursue her and do whatever it takes to call her wife and call me husband. It was going so good.
Ricky was the first one to say I love you, and I can't exactly pinpoint when it was or when it was actually true for him. But I know that he said it quite a bit before Florida and after Florida, so I didn't necessarily know when it was genuine or not. I feel like the first time that he genuinely told me that he loved me was after he proposed to me. It was in front of all our family and friends, and I think there was like a genuine emotion to him recognizing and declaring that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with me.
So the journey for us being married 3 years now has been a long journey. I would say probably at least a decade. The way I see it is kind of pre-Florida and post-Florida, because pre-Florida we were talking, but I was very selfish. I was very self-centered. I wasn't willing or ready to commit to a relationship, and that showed in my actions. And the journey took a lot of forgiveness and regaining trust. And post-Florida, I knew there was a lot of uphill battles I needed to climb, you know, in regaining her trust and showing her that I meant what I said, and letting my actions speak for themselves. And I believe that through all of that, you know, that's allowed us to be where we are today, as far as being strong, you know, being committed to one another, showing each other that, you know, we're in it for the long haul. And yeah.
Our story was pretty typical. Boy meets girl, girl falls for boy, and then ends up in a weird situation where you're kind of caught in the middle. I felt like Ricky did care about me, but he didn't necessarily know how to show it, and maybe to a degree he didn't necessarily know how to love himself, let alone other people. So I think it took a lot of growing up for both of us. But after he came back from Florida, he just like flipped a 180 and showed that he cared genuinely and reinforced his actions.
I think one big way God was able to heal our relationship was through our willingness to forgive and to, show each other we mean what we say. As far as, she was willing to forgive me and to give me another chance and to prove myself that I meant what I said. I meant that I was committed to her. I meant that I loved her. I meant that she was the one. And previously, all of those things, I had proved her wrong. I did a lot of damage. I did a lot of things to lose her trust. And I think it's by God's grace, she had that knowing that I was her husband that gave her the strength to, open up her heart again, to give me another chance. And coming back from Florida and seeing her, I knew that she was the one. And I knew, seeing her, that that's the woman who I would be honored to share children with and to say I do. I think God's been able to use all those things to restore us and, to bring us to where we are today.
God has healed me by allowing me to see the root of certain issues within both of us, and allowing me to realize that the issues that we dealt with in our relationship, and even before our relationship, didn't necessarily fall onto myself, because I feel like I blamed myself a lot for a lot of the things that we dealt with, and now I've come to realize that it wasn't my fault necessarily. Obviously, in certain situations, there's some blame for that, but He's allowed me to realize that it wasn't because I wasn't valuable, and it wasn't because I wasn't worth it. It just was because of what Ricky dealt with in his life, and even past generations that kind of crept up, and he worked through it, and he's been restored. So it's definitely changed the direction of our relationship and continues to do so. Communicating with one another and realizing that we can be vulnerable, just let our guard down, and nothing is off limits. And I know that whatever we're going through, we'll both be able to empathize with one another and work through the issue and overcome it together. So I feel like no problem's too big.
We've been able to learn to communicate with one another. Early on in our marriage, I think there was a lot of assumption, a lot of expectations of what we thought marriage was like. And then once we actually got into it, kind of started facing situations, we started, whether it's just reading books or reading articles or seeking out advice on, what I need to do on my end. And I think the biggest thing is communicating and actually learning to listen to one another versus being ready to give a response.
What I didn't say, I'm gonna leave it all behind.
I definitely think that Ricky takes the cake on this one. He really tries to look at the small details and build off of them. He makes it a point to make me feel like a queen each and every day.
Yeah, boy. No, just kidding. Or I would like to think that I'm the more romantic one, simply because my model of romance comes from when Jesus commands us to love our wives as He has loved the church. One thing that I've been able to learn from that is always putting her needs before mine without expecting anything in return. And even when I fall short, just picking myself back up and reminding myself that she is a daughter of the Most High, to be respected, to be loved, to be cherished, and just learning to do little things that speak to her, and just being able to surprise her and let her know that I'm thinking about her and that she's the only one that I think about all day. Oh, so you be saying that we met at church? That I added you on Facebook?
You did.
She tripping. We met at the house, and then we met again at church 3 weeks later. That one I'm probably gonna have to agree with her. She's right. I'm right. Just wrong in the timing. One big thing that I love about you is your desire and your ability to love your family before yourself a lot of the times, especially when it comes to our son. I know you've sacrificed a lot for him and you've put a lot of his needs before yourself. I just love that about you, you know, because he's not gonna ever have to worry if mom loves me or not, or if I have mom's approval, because you're showing him that you do love him and that whatever he does, he already has your approval. Yeah. You're so beautiful. I love your eyes. They are beautiful. And I genuinely hope one of our children has your eyes, because they are amazing.
I love how much you love our son, and I love that he will always know that you're going to be there to love on him, to guide him through tough situations, and that every time he falls, you're going to be there to pick him up. I love that you're patient and that you're kind, you're considerate, you're really generous. I love that you have passion and drive for the things that you want, and you go for them. I don't know, I just love you. I love the person that you are. I love you.
I love you too. Give me keys. Come here. If I have to hoop you over here. That would have been cute, huh?